Next on item 13, business showcase presentation.
This morning's speaker is our wellness coach and also our incoming president and president in attendance, none other than Khea Wah. He likes to be known as KW. Was born in Kuala Kangsar, moved to Penang more than 50 years ago. He served in 3 multinational companies as equipment maintenance and operation manager before he retired 4 years ago. He is very passionate in helping those who are less fortunate. As such, in his spare time, he worked as a social voluntary worker for more than 28 years. Can you give it a round of applause for this? After his retirement, I don't think he's retired, he's still working. He continues his passion in helping others as a wellness coach, aiming to help people improve their relationship with their health, finances, as well as among the people with him. He is married, his one and only wife, Miss, I call her Miss because before we get married, it's about Miss, Miss Lee Teng Sim. Guess how many years married?
35.
40 years of marriage. Like, let's get another round of applause. They have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. Except for the 2 grandchildren, all of them are involved in voluntary work in one way or another, following their father's footsteps. Wow, fantastic, very good. His current hobbies are reading, researching wellness topics, and continuing helping others. His burning desire is to help people living healthy, gain financial independence, and have good interpersonal relationship both within the business world and within the family. Something nobody knows about KW. Even though he has the headmaster look, second headmaster, one is William, second headmaster is KW. He is approachable. Please see him often do a one-to-one dance with him. He's also a very interesting person despite, I don't know how to pronounce that, how to pronounce it correctly. Lau Kong Tong.
What's that?
Lau Kong Tong. Antique.
Oh, antique.
Oh, antique, okay.
No, just antique. Oh.
Okay, his key to success is continuing learning, trying and doing and teaching. Let's put our hands together to welcome KW Wah.
Okay, thank you, Edward, for the nice introduction. Okay, so Lau Ko Tong is here. Okay. Okay. Again, I'm KW Wah. You can address me as KW Wah. Someone call me KW, some Low. Okay, but you can call me KW. I'm the wellness coach from Riway International. Now today I do slightly different. Instead of just talking about a product, I give you some introduction about stem cells. Because over the last few years, I've been talking to a lot of people and they seem not able to understand what stem cells is all about. Okay, now what is live stem cells therapy? Because the only process in the world today that was actually proven safe and effective in slowing down the aging process. It has been used by almost every culture and civilization since the dawn of mankind. For example, the ancient Greeks consumed bone marrow of lions to enhance their strength. In Thailand, some old scrolls actually also revealed that from the year 100 BC, the use of placenta for their regeneration. Another history that we can actually research on, you can actually look at the ancient Egyptians, British royal families, French, Greece, and Italy in Europe, and of course in the eastern part, basically Chinese and Thai. Okay. So why is cell therapy different from the others? Now, in order to actually preserve our youthfulness, our body's anti-aging system needs to function optimally at 3 interdependent levels. Number 1 is the protection of cells from destruction by free radicals. Number 2 basically is actually repairing of all those worn out or damaged cells. And the third one, of course, is the renewal and regeneration, meaning replacing the irreparable or dead cells with fresh new cells. The more efficient these 3 functions are, the healthier we will be. Now, why cell therapies are different from others. Continuing, under the protection side, the mechanism to actually helps protection basically is to maximize the antioxidant intake. Sources, we can get it from fruits, vegetables, vitamins, coenzymes, etc. On the repair function, we need to actually stimulate the healing. So resources, we can actually get it from aloe vera, zinc, spirulina, vitamins, and so on. But as far as the regeneration is concerned, the only way to do is actually stimulating the cell regeneration. And as far as science are concerned, medical science are concerned, the only way we can do is actually through live cells therapy. Of course, not necessarily from external. If you are healthy, your cells is actually working fine, you can also have the cell regeneration. Now, how does cells therapy works? In layman's term, it's actually similar to the blood, tissue, or even the organ transplant. But in the transplant, the effects are actually organ specific and not species specific. What is the meaning? The meaning is actually, okay, if you actually get liver cells into your body as an example, it can only help your liver. If it's the kidney cells, it can actually help your kidney. Okay? And it doesn't matter whether the donor is actually human or other animals. Like for instance, we are talking about a vaccine for smallpox, chickenpox. It's actually coming from a cow. All right? So it's not an issue. Now, using embryonic stem cells, which Riway is actually talking all about, can help multiple organs instead of just now we were talking about on single organ. Because in the embryo stage, the cells are actually like the jokers in the cards, right? In a set of cards. You can actually match with any other card in a sense. All right, so which means to say if you're using the embryonic cells, it can help all organs in the body. And that's one of the reasons why a single capsule can help the whole body. Now, as we age, our cells gradually lose their ability to function precisely as they intended. So the presence of the fresh cells, if we are getting older, our cells are actually slower. We will not be able to generate fast enough. So using stem cell therapy, you can actually add back the new cells to your body and function properly. The benefits of live stem cell therapy. So basically, I'm not going to read every one. Basically, it's actually talking about, it's actually good for your skin care, actually good for your immune system, good for your cells in a sense, all right? So time does not permit me to read each and every one, so you can come to me later. Now, we talked about the history earlier. How about what I call modern day cell therapy? It was actually propagated by Dr. Paul Nihans, actually he's a German medical scientist, in 1931. During that time, he injected a cow parathyroid stem cells to a woman, aged 60 plus, who had her parathyroid glands accidentally removed. Okay, that time I think medical advances is not that good. Okay, so they have an accident in that sense. And she actually continued to live another 30 years. And the person dies only at 93 years old. Okay, so which means to say, live cell therapy has actually proven to be very safe if you use it properly. Now in 1936, after 1931, people know about the stem cell therapy. In 1936, the Montreal-Orsi Hospital in Switzerland was actually established and offering live stem cells injections to preserve youthfulness. And since then, members of the royal family, VIPs, celebrities, and politicians, as well as the rich and famous, all over the world continue to visit this hospital, Montreal-Orsi Hospital in Switzerland, using live cell therapy to preserve their appearances, maintain vitality and endurance. All right, the fees are of course very exorbitant. All right, in reality, it's actually costing you more than 100,000 USD. Okay, plus your lodging and things like that on there, it can be up to 300 in a sense. So layperson like you and me are likely to be able to use this method, the so-called injection-based live cell therapy in Switzerland. All right. So, and apart from what they call Switzerland, it's also very popular right now and being accepted in Germany, France, and Japan. Okay, a little bit of what they call our product, Petia. Petia is actually converting the so-called drips or what they call this injection to oral form. You can actually consume it. It's actually what they call convenient, And it's also a lot more cheaper than the injection or the drips method. Okay, like this, for instance, in what we call this Pantai Hospital, for one course they are talking about no guarantee of success, it will cost you at least 50,000. And in Carl Collington Hospital, as an example, it's actually 45,000. Okay, ringgit. So our product is a lot more cheaper in that sense. Now it employs 4 modern technology in this particular product to make it happen. The stem cells are actually remaining alive by the so-called freeze-drying technology, where the cord blood is actually preserved inside there and it can last for at least about 4 years. All right, at what we call 200 degrees C, minus 200 degrees C. For our so-called cord blood blanking, it is actually at minus 200 and it can actually be preserved for about 21 years. The next, we actually have a nitrogen-filled capsule. Basically, it's actually a nitrogen-filled technology to avoid all the ingredients in the capsule being oxidized. All right, you can see all those Chinese ginseng, TCM type of capsule is actually you can scoop in, scoop out. All right, and there's a chance for you to actually be oxidized because water and air can enter it. All right, if the storage is no good, you may have this problem. And the next, we actually have a better absorption in the small intestine. Basically, it would go through your what we call this stomach, avoiding being actually attacked by the so-called or damaged, the nutrients being damaged by the so-called stomach acids. It goes down to the intestines automatically, protected through the stomach, using the so-called enteric coating technology, which means to say it won't actually dissolve in the so-called acidic condition, but going into the so-called alkaline condition. Then only it started to melt. And of course, without the 4th technology, it won't get that kind of effect. The 4th technology basically is actually allow us to actually have better absorption in small intestines. It's through a so-called nanotechnology, breaking down the so-called nutrients in a bigger molecular size into a nano size. All right. So with that size, the effectiveness for the body to be absorbed is actually equivalent to that of injection. All right. So the first edition of Petir actually going to the market in 2008. It's coming to 8 years right now. And it's in the 5th edition with a lot of enhanced what we call effectiveness. All right, the nutrients content read through very fast. You have live cells, which I said, okay, using the freeze drying technology to be able to get it from the deer placenta or the cord blood. Then we have actually the next one is actually dendrobium. It's a top Chinese immortality herb. Lycopene oil from tomato has a lot of super antioxidants. Xylitol from the mangosteen has a wealth of plant nutrients and powerful antioxidants properties. Marine collagen with 18 amino acids boosting immunity and maintain youthful skins. Squalene provides oxygen to the cells. All right, we need oxygen. Evening primrose oil is actually rich in vitamins and minerals, helps maintaining body functions and good health. Borage oil improves skins and of course, defending yourself from the 3H. Aloe vera, there's a lot of active enzymes and vitamins that's been used, I think, in India for more than 2,000 years. Avocado oil, rich in beta-carotene and potassium, contains powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Now, the referrals I'm looking for, people who want to understand how stem cell therapy can help them to be healthy. People who want to look younger, okay, without any complications, right? Slow down or even reverse aging. People who suffer from chronic diseases, all right, heart, circulation, respiratory, diabetes, stroke, or even cancers. People who need tissue regeneration, renewal, accident-inflicted, spinal cord injuries, joint pains, Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's disease, burns, and osteoarthritis. Okay, thank you for listening. Q&A. Okay, now I'm not too sure any one of you actually aware of this. Deer is the only animal that's actually without a gut, okay? Without a gut. Yeah. And since you're actually without a gut in a sense down there, meaning that they do not actually produce the so-called bowels. All right, bowels, 胆汁, the 胆, okay? So without that, basically they did not actually have a so-called detox function on its own. All right, deer is the only animal recognized today. In future, whether you can find any other animal, we don't know. But today, that is the only animal that actually do not have a detox function on its own. So that's the reason they actually be very careful in selecting their food. We have heard about mad cow disease, we have heard about mad goat disease, but we never heard about mad cow, what they call this deer disease. For a reason, they have any diseases coming in, they will go, okay? They'll die. They never have a chance to survive in a sense. So it's the purest form. In fact, I think the word patir is actually talking about purity of deer, okay? It's coined up from that word. It's a pure, what they call this animal. And as I mentioned earlier in the earlier part of my presentation, the donor not necessarily be a human. It can be any animals, all right? And it has been proven in the previous literature. The old literature has already documented saying that these can be there, all right? And in fact, I think as far as the Chinese tradition is concerned, if you go back to what they call this, some medical encyclopedia in China, you can actually go back at least about 1,500 years, where they already had documentation saying that they are making use of what we call the deer parts. Not only just a blood portion, the placenta portion, but it's also for all the other organs that have been used, all right? Like for instance, they talk about what we call this placenta also used for this asthma, all right? And I've physically seen myself personally, my nephew actually has this problem, and after consuming just a dry powder, okay, from the placenta, then the, what we call asthma goes away, all right? So a lot others, if you we don't have a TCM right now, otherwise you can actually talk to the TCM, you can find out more. Any other questions? But as I said, okay, as far as the, what we call this history is concerned, you already have 2,000 years of history on documentation saying that people have been using that. And today, of course, people will still ask the question. So that's the reasons we are saying a lot of the so-called vaccine we are actually taking from the animals. All right. And of course, people may be asking, why didn't we actually make use of the sheep? Which a lot of people are actually using it for what? The sheep placenta for beauty. All right. So we choose what I call Riway actually chooses the deer for a reason because it's more pure. All right. And you also have a lot of what we call evidences in the past. Of course, today you can ask a similar question. We also have asked, okay, before I joined this company. The whole idea behind it is saying that, okay, if you wanted to actually put this in only on the placenta alone, you may call it as a medicine, all right, like drugs as an example. People will be asking for what they call whether they actually have any complications. But this product actually has a lot of other ingredients, which is actually creating the environment to support it, okay, so that the growth of stem cells is actually getting faster, all right? So meaning that you can actually help people to actually recover a lot more faster. Instead, especially for the aged, all right, where their own what we call stem cells is actually reducing, you need to replenish. Okay? Okay, I think time does not allow me to continue. If you have any questions, you can always see me after that. Okay? Thank you.